Hello people. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a little bit of a different video here now. The main reason is I have to document this because I'm working with something that's dangerous. Lithium-ion batteries. So that's the reason for recording the video. But when I got it done, I thought about it over. Battery operated equipment is becoming popular because it's much more maneuverable, it's lighter, and quieter. It doesn't use as much fossil fuels, etc., etc., etc. For people who have fatigue problems, continuous pain, that kind of thing, battery operated tools are really good because, like I said, they're light. The biggest problem with battery operated tools are the batteries themselves. These things only last so long. This is the battery, one of the batteries, there's two, from my lawnmower. And if you've been watching, you know that these have given out, and I could only mow like 2 bags worth of, that's the catcher bag on the lawnmower. I could only fill it up twice with a single charge. And so what to do about it? These things cost $100 to buy, $100 each. So that's $200. You can buy the lawnmower for $200, and it comes with 2 batteries. So I was thinking it over and wondering how I could actually make my own. So took up a lot of time this summer, and down the rabbit hole of how you actually make a lithium-ion battery. So in this video I'm going to show how, rather than remaking a full battery, I replace the battery cells that it's in this battery. So here's the battery, and you'll find 4 holes in the bottom. In there's a star top screwdriver. He's not very big, so I'm using a little small screwdriver. So we back out every one of those screws. Now this part, my camera was messing up and not recording right, so I'm actually redoing the first part. The bottom, put the screws in there. Make sure you don't lose the screws, whatever you does. So I got the screws put in the tray there beside it. And then lift out this part. You see, these are called 18650 cells. They're 18 millimeters in diameter. They're 65 millimeters long. I don't know why they put the 0 on the end, but that's where the 18650 comes from. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out. So, this is the cell that was in the batteries originally. Had these. I have proper Samsung cells. The Samsung INR 18650 35E. So that's the number that Samsung has given their 18650 cells, the 3500 milliamps, so that's 3.5 amp hours. Searching the net and asking different people, they were saying use the brand name batteries and buy from a trusted supplier. Well, to start with, brand name batteries. That's a no-name battery. Now, as far as they're saying cheap Chinese knockoff, everything is made in China. Samsung, they have 3 countries they make their batteries in. One is China, I think it's South Korea, and then there's another one down further south. Don't remember what the third country was. Currently, there is no battery manufacturer in the United States that I could find. There is a manufacturer that does have plans to put a factory in the United States. There's none in Canada. So, if you take most of these batteries apart, and of course, that's one of the reasons why they don't want you to take them apart, because you'll realize what's in them. The cheaper cells. They sell those batteries for $100, but on Alibaba, they can get these for 50 cents a piece. There's 10 in each one. That's $5 per battery of battery cells. Well, let's put another $5 for all the other rigmaroles on it, because that's about what it costs. And you have something that's $10 they're charging $100 for. If you buy this from the guys that's selling from China, then you can get it. Well, I got these for less than $2, but on average, the 3.5 amp hour 18650 cell, $2 on AliExpress. I checked in Canada. In the States, the cheapest I can get them for would be $7 Canadian, and I'd have to, well, because I'm in Newfoundland, I'd have to pay just as much for the shipping, and that means $14 each. I've seen them as high as $25 each. One cell. Now, these cells in particular, Samsung cells, the people that's buying them in bulk can get them for less than $1. Like 89 cents, I think it is. And they're selling them for 30. Anyway, for our purposes, we'll say $2 a piece. There's 10 cells in each one. That makes $20 each for me to replace the cells in this battery. The one thing you need for doing this, the main thing, is a spot welder. Now, you can buy these spot welders on AliExpress, Amazon, Temu, most of those places actually, for dirt cheap. Turn it on. It has 5 different power levels, and it's a handheld one. You hold it down against the metal and wait, and after a second or so it will arc and do your spot weld. So I bought this one. I had another battery that was no longer working, and when I took it apart I realized one of the contacts was loose, and this reattached that contact, no problem at all. So it paid for itself in just the one battery, really. When I started with these batteries, however, I found that this one wasn't strong enough, because this one only goes up to a 0.12 millimeter thickness. That is, see, these are your simple tin strips that you use for building batteries. This one is 0.1 millimeter. This one I think is 0.15. This spot welder will weld this on no problem. It won't, however, weld this on. And I add some of this because I was going to weld two lines together. But this is 0.15 and this handheld one wouldn't weld it. The other problem I had with this was that you have to put it down right at the right angle to make sure there's equal pressure on both tips, which is very difficult to do. I mean, the slightest off angle at all, it's got to go down. Like to the tips, you can tip it back and forth this way, but you can't tip it this way at all. It's got to be perfectly perpendicular going this way. So what I did is to get me a little more expensive now, because this one costs $90. But I'm going to make a large battery for my bike, so it will certainly pay for itself. I have this little foot pedal that I put down on the floor to discharge the electricity when I want to, but I hold two probes, one in each hand, and that way I can position the probes and then get about the same pressure on each side. And with my foot then I just click it and it'll arc immediately when I push this foot pedal. Very much easier to use than these handheld jobbies. Plus this one will do up to 0.2 millimeters. So it'll be plenty of power for any battery building that I'm doing or repairing. So now I have some footage. This part of the footage don't have any sound, so I have to do voiceover. Here you see we're back to the part the blue cells are in there, and the little foam protecting piece that they have on either side. So I'm removing that. It is stuck on quite hard, so it's it is a little difficult to get off. You have to do it real slow. This is actually sped up here. You kind of have to take this off slowly like that anyway, because you don't want the residue left on the contacts that it's stuck onto below. So I already had the piece off on that side apparently. Now I take the battery and I turn up the tab like that so that I can use the bill nose pliers and grab the end of the tab there. I tried to do two, both of them at once at first, but I found that I couldn't do that. I had to do one half of it each time. So I got that first piece off, then I take off the second piece. I still have trouble getting my hands in the way when I'm trying to record things. Especially when it's close up like this. So I've taken the entire one. See, I had my hand in the way for the rest of it, so that's why I couldn't show you me taking that entire one off. But here's the second one. And you can't just tear on it. I mean, you have to do it gently, but you pull it on hard enough, and unless it's really welded on tight, the weld will eventually break. But if you give it a yank, you'll just tear the tin strip itself. Now that spark there, I touched the end one when I was trying to get a grip on that piece, and I arced out the positive and negative, which actually partially burnt that in strip. See that piece there? There's a little melted part on that strip. Now on this one, because of the way it was shaped, I had to pull up there, and then I had to go to the center and get it out like that. Now I've got that side off. I'll bend those back over, flip the battery over, and basically repeat the same thing with the other side. So here's a close-up, and you see that one piece that was welded on really tight, and the tin started to tear. You'll see later that there was one tab I had to replace because it tore so badly. But for the most part, you can see that the battery has come pretty clean, and there's no actual lump of the tin strip on the battery itself. On the battery cell, I mean. And after this part now, I can go with the sound that I already had recorded. Anyway, I'll continue on. I was just recording away, and then it says it's going to stop recording. So I don't know where I was. At any rate, I can't get these apart here now and take these blue cells out. There's two screws, one here and one here. So I have to take those out. Those in there so they're not lost. And then the BMS comes off. Put that back there. I can tip this back up. Take this part off. And now, two with positive on top. I'll replace it with two new cells. These two have negative on top. Replace that with two cells with negative up. Positive on top. Positive. Negative. Negative. Positive. Positive. And then Just replace the holder. Now we've got that done. Next thing we're wanting to do is all these pieces that we've curled over, straighten them out. I have a little piece of steel putting under it so that I can really flatten them down. Turn this around and do the other side. Now, remember the piece that got broken? You can cut this with a pair of scissors, eh? Cut that piece off. And I have this, which is basically about the same thickness. Now I can't put it all the way across here because I'll be doubling up the thickness here, and then when I go to spot weld it, it won't work. So what I have to do is just cut a piece that I can stick onto the center, and it will come out as far as the other one did. Round the end like the other one is rounded. Now there's a little lip, so I want to try to make sure everything is flat when you're doing this. I'll take my spot welder, position the part, weld it. Six little welded spots. Now we'll go back and we'll put our BMS back on here again. Let's fold those down. and we'll replace these just like they were before. Now, before, you see it goes over a little further, and these extra bits were actually hooked underneath. Have to make sure we position it exactly like it was before, right? Now, turn that back on. And you want to test it to make sure it's actually welded on good, and it is. That's that one. See, what that spark is that the metal is not right down touching the battery, and then I get a spark. Now here's that tab that we just put on there. As I was saying, I can use these probes to push that down, and then you can stick it on really good. And that's that side. We'll flip it over and do the same thing on this side. There, we got it. They're all sealed on. I can turn that off. Now the thing is, these aren't fully charged. They're shipped at about 80% charge. So if I were to take one here, and check this. Okay, so that one gives me 4 volts right off. If it was fully charged, it would be about 4.2 volts or something. So 4 times 5 should be 20 volts. So if I were to go from this positive, okay, you see this positive is not hooked across, but the power goes down this battery and it's hooked there. So it goes across, it goes up this battery, across, down that battery, over, up this battery, down, over, down that battery. So that's 5 in series, 4 volts. So from this negative right here to this positive over here should be 20 volts. And that's what we get. Oh, that was backwards. Sorry about that. And we get 20.06 volts. At 80% charge, you've got 20 volts. We were going to put these little protector jobbies back on, weren't we? Now, you can see this is where that little indicator goes. Oh, I almost forgot again. I don't have a better way of doing this. I'm going to use the hot glue gun. Just a minute for that to warm up. Now I got the glue gun warmed up. I basically need to put that center down there. Put a little glue over that part. Just like that to hold it in there. Now we can continue. Here's the contacts. Contacts are supposed to go down here. So we turn that over with the BMS down. And its contacts. Put that in there. Put the battery monitor in place. And this one, this is where the battery monitor goes, so we'll put that down over the battery monitor. And we put our screws back in. There. You see that? The battery monitor is working. I'm going to put this on the charger and charge it up. And I'm hoping that it's going to be dry tomorrow. We can try these out in the lawnmower. Instead of 4 amps, it's 7 amps. Now, of course, the other possibility is that this might have more power now. That's one bag full. Two bags full. Three bags full. I have that one bed mulched. I brought the wheelbarrow down. I'm going to fill up this wheelbarrow so I don't have to do so much walking back and forth. And when I get it full, I'll let you know how many bags that I actually put in here. I'm going to call this full 7 bagfuls I put in here, so we're up to 10 bagfuls, and it still seems to have a lot of power. So actually that was it. I went to mow up some more. I got 10 bags mowed up, and I went to mow some more, and I got probably about a full bag. So that's 11 bags. 3 charges with the lawnmower, and I was able to mow up everything that was mowed at least once this year. Main leaf falls on the go now. I also, you see those areas where it's really brown there? So that was extra. That hadn't been mowed this year at all until just now. So I'm uploading this video because, like I said, it is about having a sustainable way to have battery operated tools. If you can get somebody who can replace those cells for you, so rebuild your existing battery, or do it yourself, then battery operated tools becomes viable. So I hope you found that interesting. I ordered the other cells for my bike battery. They won't be here, well, the guaranteed delivery date is January the 4th. If you want me to put up a video about the build of my bike battery, let me know in the comments, because I have to record that as well. The reason being, this way the batteries won't be UL certified, but especially for the bike, if something goes wrong, I have to have a record of what I done, because lithium batteries, if you research them, you know they can be dangerous. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.